Hey, what's up everyone? Today I want to showcase you my first day of Halloween Cup where I went 19-11. I had an extra set using Azu, Crustle, and Smackdown Tyranitar. Now I spent pretty much most of the day before the cup started messing around on PvP poke, and I realized Crustle with Smackdown is really good, and I realized, hey, why don't I just run 2 if it's so good? And I thought if I could switch Crustle out in a bad lead, bait out the Azu, which is pretty much the hardest counter and most common counter to the rock type, which is Crustle and Tyranitar. That way I can sweep with Tyranitar in the back. So that was kind of my strategy. I'm going to show you 2 of my best sets and also 1 really bad set, because this team with double rock in the back loses to Toxicroak in the back. The entire team's weak to grass, which is kind of uncommon, and it's also weak to yeah, you'll find out. You just watch the video. Just watch until the very end and you'll see. So let's get right into it. So first game against Ford Palma, first game of Halloween, even first stream, going into a really good lead of Goldark, probably copying the Nut and Toad Technical. Switch into the Crustle here, probably should have switched in faster, but this was my first game, didn't really know what I was doing. The Ironhead doesn't KO, which means he probably won't shield either, and I barely managed to knock this out, so I got pretty lucky. I probably messed that one up, I should have switched in a bit faster, but then he comes back in with Goldark and I have an Ice Beam ready. So that actually turned out really well because he didn't really get any farm. Then he switches into his Skuntank. I have to switch in my Tyranitar as soon as I can. I need to just double shield here, but I'm pretty confident I can smack this down with 2 shields and have almost 2 crunches for the Goldark. And the only option for the Goldark is to smack me down, Mud Slap me down and then Earth Power Azu, but he decides not to shield and I take the game. Even so, I think Azu was really healthy, so even if he did shield, I think I would have had that. A really good lead here again. I think he makes an interesting mistake here. He only does 4 fasts, which means it has to be Icy Wind, I believe. I think it's 5 to do first Shadow Ball, so I just definitely don't shield. And he shields the Ice Beam here, even though it's debuffed. And I was trying to catch the Shadow Ball on the Tyranitar, but he only did 4 again, so I just didn't I didn't shield, and then I switched. And I don't know, maybe he didn't realize it was Smackdown, but he switched in his Galvantula into the Tyranitar, also dealing super effective damage, so pretty big mistake here. I decide to throw my move, and he shields anyway, just to take the last shields. At this point I was like, you know what, Tyranitar's done its job, it's another Icy Wind, don't need to shield. Managed to take that out anyway. I think I come in with Crustle here and just shield and Rock Slide, but he gives up. So his entire team weak to Rock Slide there. I think people will obviously this was the first day, so people didn't really know what they were doing team building wise 100%. I think going further on they're going to keep Crustle in mind and keep Tyranitar in mind. So yeah, pretty lucky there. Actually get the foul play here on the switch. I decide to shield just so I can get this Furry Cutter off, but I think he gets to another one before, so I decide to double shield here, and I think his play was to keep his Shiftry alive because his Shiftry pretty much wrecks my entire team, but he lets it go and he decides to take the shield advantage, which is probably going to be bad because I do end up getting to this Rock Slide. I don't know why I didn't throw it, but I guess it could have been a Rock Slide, so he shields anyway, which is better for me. Come back in with the Azu and then quickly switch to Tyranitar to tank the Shadow Ball because I wanted my Azu healthy. But he turns out he had a Shadow Ball and a Bone Club, but this Bone Club won't KO. But then he switches in his Beedrill and I think he farms me down here. But my Azu is really healthy, so I can just Ice Beam this and bubble down the AWAC, and I'm still in pretty good shape here. So yeah, pretty close game there. Interesting plays from the Drifblim. I would have definitely gone to Shadow Ball first to at least force a shield or bait a shield. Mawile lead, pretty spooky because I don't really have Hydro Pump for this. I was actually thinking maybe TMing this to like Ice Beam, Hydro Pump, or Play Rough Hydro Pump. But then he switches for me, which makes my life a lot easier. I could just switch in my Crustle here, don't shield, and just smack down, and yeah, and then I have a energy for whatever's in the back. But he wins CMP here, but I do believe this doesn't KO, and I can still manage to get this off. I think because it's Shadow Rock Slide would kill, so he decides to shield that, which is fair enough. But I think I just throw the Ice Beam here. I just want to get it out the way. I just want to see whatever he's got in the back, and it's an Umbreon. I decide to like play around with him a bit here. I know my Tyranitar with like 2 shields can knock this out. Tyranitar is actually a really hard counter to Umbreon because it resists all its moves, and yeah, especially with a shield advantage. So yeah, this team's very solid so long as there's no, you know, grass. I think he made a mistake there with the Shift Tree. Was that even this game? Whatever. But I decide to switch in now, and then I think he decides after he sees how little damage this does that he just quits. So yeah, GG's. Last game of my first set, another Mawile lead. Like I said before, I really want them to switch out because I really can't switch. Because I need this Azu for their Azu if they have one. So I decide to like bait the Hydro Pump here by throwing Ice Beam. I think I take a shield, which is really nice. And I'm not sure if they're baiting Iron Head. I don't really know what the Mawile count is, but I decide not to shield and throw another Ice Beam here, which I think would bring it close to death, and then I can just bubble down. So I've won the switch with shields. And now when you win the lead, you just want to switch. Just in case there's an Az in the back, just switch to one of your Rock Wreckers. Not Rock Wreckers, sorry, Smackdowns. And it's another bug. So yeah, sometimes I switch to Tyranitar and sometimes I switch to Crustle. If it's something both can beat, I switch to Crustle. But if it's only something Tyranitar can beat, then I switch to Crustle as well, so that I can finish it off with Tyranitar at the back at the end of the game. So yeah, GG's. And I think that was a 5-0, so I got like a good 50-60 points there. On towards our third set, not doing it in order because I'm wanting to show like my best games or most interesting games. Houndoom lead, which is amazing, but we can't switch out because this fairy will completely wreck our backline. So we kind of need to stay in, unfortunately. And I'm a bit worried because this could be like Houndoom with double fairy. So I need to kind of kill this. And yeah, also, yeah, I need to kill this and survive, but it's just not possible with one shield. And then here I shield there with the Crustle. And I think Azu comes in here, I believe. Yeah, so it was a double fairy in the back. So this is gonna be pretty difficult. I'm not sure how I played this out. I believe I don't shield here, seeing as I got my energy off, and try to smack down with Tyranitar, seeing as his smackdown is a bit better than Crustle's. And then I shield here, and I decide to farm it down before he gets his move off. I think he dies with energy there. And now I feel I can like double up to crunch. I thought I actually had 2 there, but I was slightly off, so I do 1 more, and I barely survive to take this game with the crunch. I think that was the right play. I think if I kept going Smackdown, it would have been a draw. So definitely throwing was the right play, and I was lucky he didn't get any fast attacks on the charge moves. Second game, get a bad lead, but something we can turn around. So we do the normal strategy, switch in one of our Smackdowners, and bait out the Azu. So now that the Azu is gone, well, not gone, but will be gone soon, our Tyranitar can definitely take care of the Galvantula, and with a shield advantage, take care of whatever's in the back as well. Decide to throw an Ice Beam here just so I can get another shield on the Galvantula when it comes back. So we're gonna throw an Ice Beam and do like 1 or 2 bubbles, even do a Great just to make sure that we can get that extra energy. Could have thrown the Ice Beam because he's definitely gonna shield, but it's totally fine. Then we switch into Crustle here. Not Crustle, sorry, Tyranitar. Shield the lunge because it would KO, and he switches in Mawile. And yeah, this is one of the Pokemon in the back we don't really want to see. Mawile, Toxicroak, or Fighters, or Grass. Probably should have shielded that one, but I don't think it's possible to win given how weak my Pokemon are. could have maybe shielded here, but I don't think it mattered. Like, he still had a shield, and yeah, it's GG's. So yeah, that's one Pokemon we don't really want to see in the back. This is a Pokemon we want to see in the lead, so that's really good. But then again, I'm thinking, shit, this could be double fairy. I can't really switch, so I decide maybe I can like hurt it a bit and then switch into Crustle. But so yeah, I have to shield this because I need to maintain switch. Don't want that Obstagoon to mess me up in the back. I think he lets this go because he's like, okay, I'll take the shield advantage, but it's really good for me. Then I need to switch out immediately so I can use that Azu on the Obstagoon, do a fair bit of damage on the Galvantula. Don't need to shield this. And I don't know if this was a mistake, but I went for Rock Slide here. I think I could have done 2 Fury Cutters, especially Bug being super effective against Dark. But it turns out okay in the end. I'm kind of hoping he doesn't throw a Gunk Shot or Hyper Beam, so I'm not shielding or anything. And he does a bit of a mistake here. He decides not to shield here, even though he's got 2 shields. I guess he thought, you know, Galvantula 2 shields is really strong. It is really strong, but not if you've got Smackdown. So he's gonna, unfortunately, take 2 shields for the house and die with 2 shields. So yeah, GG's. Next game, we get the Azumarill lead. This is kind of where we want to see the Azumarill. Even if we miss some bubbles and they get some extra bubbles, we don't really need to win because Crustle can kill this. If it's a draw on the CMP in the very end and I lose, the Crustle can smack this down, smack down the Azu before it gets a move. I make a mistake here. I kind of decide to switch and I just kind of panic there and I throw my move, which is really bad. I need to call the Hydro Pump here and I could do call right. So luckily I get that right. I decide to go farm down because I decided, you know, he's probably not going to get to a second Hydro Pump, and I was right. So I have 2 Rock Slides now, so I'm just going to throw a Rock Slide immediately when the Azu comes back. Unfortunately, we CMP here, so I can't get the second one off, but I'm like, okay, that's fine. He has a shield advantage, but I'm hoping Tyranitar can sweep whatever's in the back. Decide to go for an Ice Beam here just to finish it off so I can throw a move at whatever's in the back. But with 2 shields, I don't think it was necessary to throw here because he's obviously gunning shields and I can do more fast attack damage by switching because I let him get some farm, so he is able to get to 2 Fury Cutters before I smack him down. But because my Az is still quite healthy and he's basically on 1 HP, I can take this game with just an extra bubble. So yeah, GG's. Lots of dabs there. Going against Tamadachan. Another unfavorable lead that we can definitely swap, definitely turn because we have 2 Smackdown users. Once again, we bait out the Azu. Normally we can get to 1 Rock Slide and a Fury Cutter. Usually they farm a bit extra, so I just throw the Fury Cutter immediately. And I think this guy actually shields, thinking it's another Rock Slide, so it's very good for us here. I think he undertaps this. No, he doesn't. Okay, that's fine. So now we can go in with Azu and we can farm up to 100 energy, throw an Ice Beam, bubble down, and get an Ice Beam onto the Beedrill when it comes back, just to make Tyranitar's life slightly easier, so we can save shields for whatever is in the back as well. So we throw our Ice Beam here. I'm not sure if I do an Excellent like I did. Okay, I do an Excellent, and then 1 bubble. And I'm 1 bubble away for my Ice Beam. I don't believe he shields this because he only has 1 shield, and he immediately switches to Drifblim, which is really bad for him because my Smackdown Tyranitar once again clears his entire line. So yeah, a lot of these teams are very weak to Smackdown. There's a lot of Marowak, there's a lot of Bug, there's a lot of Flyer. Didn't shield one of the Icy Winds because it didn't KO, just in case he had a drill run. So yeah, another solid run there, 4-1. Yeah, so now I'll show you some really bad sets here. I decided to keep this set in the video because it shows the big weaknesses of this team. So especially a Hydro Pump, a non-Hydro Pump Azu against a Steely is quite bad. So I decided to switch out immediately and try to go for the Rock Slide, but he switches an Umbreon, so I'm like, okay, fine, I'll just go X-Scissor. And this is actually kind of bad because I think he wins in the 0 shields. Because at this point, I don't shield this one, but I think I shield the next one. and he's basically at a 2 shield advantage here. I think I do shield this one just so I can get this Fury Cutter off, but I believe he lets it go and takes the shield advantage. This was a mistake from me. Oh, he does shield. This was a mistake from me because now Tyranitar can't really solo anything without any shields. I could have easily just let it go and come in with Azu, get some chip damage into the Wormadam, but no, he has Galvantula here and a shield, so as soon as I switch into my what's his face, the Tyranitar, it's gonna take a lunge and I won't be able to kill. I decide to stay in a bit, take the energy off, but I don't kill this fast enough, so the lunge is going to knock me out. So a few misplays there. Definitely needed to not shield so I could sweep with Tyranitar, potentially. I don't think I could have anyway, but that was the best play. So another game of this awful set. You're gonna see. Maybe this was a good game, but so he switches into his Azu here. So I'm like, okay, fine. This is kind of good because I want this Azu out. I want it gone. I want it killed. So just gonna do, you know, boring Azumarill stuff. Doesn't really matter if I win or lose here. I think he did let a bubble through. So we're on even energy. But like I said before, I am able to kill this with just Crustle if he does win. But I do get it off anyway. And okay, this is a good game. So yeah, at this point, both of my Pokemon with 2 shields can just, you know, smack down his Galvantula and his Marowak. So I don't shield here. He immediately switches out. I decide to switch out just to remove the buff, remove the debuff, I mean. He's only gonna get 1 Bone Club here, I believe, or 2. I decide to not shield this one because lunge does more damage. And yeah, at this point it's pretty much game. Don't know why I threw that. He's got 2 shields. I'm just kind of like wasting time, but 1 smackdown that went through there was enough to knock out, and lunge wouldn't have KO'd, so GG. Alright, I think this is a bad game. Okay, so we get the Azumarill in the lead, so we can't switch out. So we have to stay in and kill this. And I think I need to, yeah, and he gets a bubble in, so we definitely know we're gonna lose now. Because he's got an energy advantage. But I've said this already like 5 times. That's not a big deal because Crustle can just farm down 5 smackdowns. I get the bubble back, but because this is a rank 1 best buddy, it's got really low attack, and he gets the bubble there, so now we know we're gonna lose. So on and off, depending, we're not gonna lose. Yeah, so we lose this. I think I can, because this isn't a really good one, it's 1491 CP, I actually kill it in 3 smackdowns, which is kind of worse because more energy would have been good here. And we can't switch out, we need to throw Rock Slide, we need to knock this out. I decide to shield here, which yeah, I have to shield here because at least I'm taking neutral damage here instead of double super effective against the Tyranitar. And because I shielded, I think he decided to shield even though it's a Fury Cutter. I think I could have switched out faster instead of him farming me down. That way I might not have tanked a Mud Bomb, might not have needed to shield a Mud Bomb. I might have been able to, you know, smack him down before he gets to the Mud Bomb, or get some more energy so I can kill this. But yeah, very close. So yeah, Toxicroak in the back, especially with an Azu team, very bad for this team. So yeah, I think we're gonna get a repeat. So we're gonna have, you know, Azu in the lead again, and yeah, I'm gonna spoil it right now. There's Scrafty in the back, so even if we win this, it's completely over because like you saw how close that was in the last game. Like I almost won with a Toxicroak in the back. It was just like 1 or 2 smackdowns difference, and maybe if I played that differently, I could have maybe gone out of that and won. But with a Scrafty, it's way worse. It's way worse because it's tankier, so I won't be able to kill it as good. So as you can see, this is a good IV Azumarill, so it took 4 smackdowns there. And as soon as I see the Scrafty there, I'm like, yeah, this is over. These Fury Cutters are doing nothing. In hindsight, I think I could have shielded here. I was like, oh, I'll just shield my Tyranitar. But if I shielded here, I could have maybe gotten another Fury Cutter off. He decides to shield the second one, but it really doesn't matter. I wanted to shield this buffed power up punch now, but these counters are doing so much damage, and I realized, yeah, there's no point. I'm just gonna let it go. So yeah, really rough having an Azu and Fighter in 2 games in a row. Shiftry lead is another issue of this team, or any grass leads, because this entire team is weak to grass. But I almost win this one. I actually made a mistake, so we'll see. I get the shield here, and I actually called the bait twice. I was like, I got the shield. I need the shields for Shiftry. There's no point. I could farm this with Azu, so that's why I didn't really shield. And I actually get the Fury Cutter here as well. But he comes in with Azu and farms down, so I can really Fury Cutter the Shiftry. I decide to come in with Azu here, and I realize I need to stay at 100 energy just in case he switches. So I'm going to go up to 100 energy, then throw my Play Rough, just so that I have lots of energy. And he has Hydro Pump, so I'm like, I'm definitely going to win this matchup. And then he switches as soon as I throw the Play Rough, which is really smart. I made a I make a huge misplay here. So he shields the Ice Beam, and I realize I'm just gonna like farm up, double shield and throw. But then I got scared. I'm like, oh crap, this guy generates so much energy. So I decide to sack here, which almost KOs, but then he just ends up farming it. So that was a huge mistake. He ends up farming it and just throwing it. And I realized that I didn't need to sack because I completely survived this Leaf Blade. And I could have just Ice Beamed, and yeah, and then smack down the Azu. So there you have it. Those were my games from my Monday stream, quickly summarized and quickly commentated just in case you wanted to try. I think Shadow Tyranitar would be better because you'd kill things faster using less shields before they get to their energy. But then again, you still survive a Bone Club from Marowak, but it would be kind of like riskier and pretty closer. But yeah, definitely try this team out. Like I said, it only really loses to, you know, Grass, Fighter in the back, and Double Water, I suppose, which doesn't really exist. I think one Quillfish game kind of screwed me over as well, Quillfish lead. But yeah, even some of those games with the Shiftry lead and the Toxicroak in the back were pretty close. I think that Shiftry game I could have definitely won. So yeah, there you have it. I'm gonna be probably using this team and maybe some other teams for the rest of the week. Hope you liked the video. Make sure to like and subscribe down below, share, retweet, all those YouTube algorithm shenanigans. You know how it is. So thank you very much. Azure out.